I'm here because I believe in you. It is more important that people look back on my 17 years in JeffCo as one of being a teacher. I walk in every day and I remind myself that I am a teacher first because I love the profession. I love our schools and I love what we do. This is not about me, but I want to give you an example. 17 years ago, Lakewood was the third smallest high school in the county. It is now the largest. And it grew by us telling people that Lakewood High School wasn't vanilla, it wasn't just for one type of child, it was for all children. And in spite of whatever test scores are going to tell us, that it was a quality school, just like Golden is, just like all the rest of the schools in this district. And here's the piece of it to show for it. When you look at the fact that a few years ago, there was a school that was ready to be closed with not the best test scores, because that is this much of what goes on in that school. Those parents came out in full support because they knew the people in that building cared about their kids. And we're going to work. And that you as teachers, you as administrators, you as the clerical staff, you as the custodians in the building, you as the bus drivers, cared about those kids in that school and were doing the very best for them. So as we look at JeffCo and we look at what's happening here, please make no mistake about the big agenda that's sweeping this country. Make no mistake that our conversation with our parents and our community members needs to change. Why is it that most people will say, we love our home school, but schools must be failing somewhere else because that's the word that's out there. So how do we change that dialogue? How do we change that communication? Well, when you're sitting there at parent conferences, we need to let people know that as $7 million gets to walk out the door of this school, it's going to some school that's going to say, I don't want my kids going to school with those kids, because that's the agenda. And I love Lakewood's diversity. Oh, there are days that it makes it harder. There are days that kids don't have lunch and breakfast. There are days that some of those kids don't come to school wearing the right stuff. But you know what? We make up for it. Don't give me an idea that I have to write a unified improvement plan, but please, Ron, don't put down that poverty is a part of it. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
It's the big part of it. And when $7 million gets to go out the door so that those kids can go somewhere else, we know what ALEC is all about.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
We know what some people on this board are standing for.
Yep.
Yes, we do.
Then we better fix it and we better become better communicators with what's going on out there. Because it is clear, whether it's Michigan and charter schools where the money is for the schools are for profit and the money's going out the back door, and it doesn't matter which side of the aisle, because we can look to Chicago, we can look to the UNO school system, and we can see all the flaws in that. We better be the guardians of the gate, because they're stealing it from our back door.
Yep. Yes,
We have to be our advocates. We have to get people to realize, to say it louder. My school's not failing. My school is trying. My kid may not be putting forth the best effort. We'll get him there. We'll work with them. I know who you are, because I work with 120 of them every day. Best people that I know, care, working. It lights up their day when they make that breakthrough with that student. We know what we're talking about. And it doesn't show up necessarily on one little test. So when we get away from that, when we start to advocate for what we really know is good for kids, how many of you had to put down that same test in front of, I do this, and I feel guilty about it. Here's an IB kid. Here, would you take this test? Okay, special needs kid, I want you to take the very same test.
Right.
Are we kidding ourselves? We've been putting up with it for too long, so we better get things fixed. Cindy Stevenson started this year with something on the screen that I've kind of been screaming about for years. What legislators pass will not help education. When we start to figure out that they're not our friends, that they're not really helping our agenda, we better get more involved.
Yep.
Thank you for letting me speak today.